Hello and welcome to the Castle in Boston, Massachusetts for this BoxingHerald.com presentation of the middleweight fight between Donnie Orr and Roberto Valenzuela. My name is Peter Zimbor. I'm joined alongside my broadcast partner, Dan Horgan. Dan, Donnie Orr, an undefeated middleweight prospect, 2000 Canadian Olympian, going in against a very experienced fighter tonight.
Well, Peter, Donald Orr has really dedicated his entire life to boxing. He's a full-time boxer, and he even moved from his home in British Columbia down to South Boston for a more tight-knit boxing community. Valenzuela is a guy who has seen it all. He's been in the ring with Oscar Diaz, Demetrius Hopkins, and Ben Tacky, just to name a few. He's going to provide a great test tonight for the undefeated but yet untested Donald Orr.
Well, Donnie Orr spoke with us yesterday, and you mentioned he has a lot of support in Canada, and since he has relocated to South Boston, has a lot of support here as well. But he has one particular supporter tonight that he wants to make sure knows how much he loves him.
About 2 weeks ago, my father was working on the side of a house and fell off a ladder and sustained a broken L1 in his back. So he's got a broken back, but he's always been in my corner since I was a little boy. So him making an 8-hour flight out from Victoria, British Columbia is kind of a tough task to take on for him yesterday, but he made the trip over and suffered through it, and he's here for me to be in my corner with me for the fight tomorrow night. So maybe that'll give me a little bit of an extra push to really make him proud.
And Donnie Orr's opponent, Roberto Valenzuela. Dan, you mentioned that he's been in there with some of the best young prospects in the business. Demetrius Hopkins, Andre Berto, to name a few. But the thing is, those are welterweight and junior welterweight prospects. Tonight, Roberto Valenzuela fighting at middleweight against Donnie Orr, who is undefeated at 12-0, 5 knockouts, a 2000 Canadian Olympian, and the one time Roberto Valenzuela fought at middleweight, he was knocked out by Miguel Espino, famous from Season 1 of the Contender Series.
Right, well, Valenzuela is definitely a smaller guy. You can just tell by looking at him, the bone structure is not made for the middleweight division, but this guy has 87 fights. He's won 44 of them. If he loses tonight, then he'll have one half of his fights, so I'm sure that pride factor is going to be on the line.
Donnie Orr has relocated to Boston to train for his boxing career, but he wants to say a special hello to his fans in his native homeland of Canada, and Roberto Valenzuela pushes Donnie Orr. No punching activity going on, just pushing. And Donnie Orr, outstanding amateur career, as we mentioned, 2000 Olympian representing Canada, undefeated in his pro career thus far. Roberto Valenzuela, when you talk about fighters with experience, look at this, 44 wins, 37 losses, and 2 draws. He hails from Mexico, and you know, in Mexico, you can turn pro at a young age.
Right, you can be 15 years old and turn pro.
And good work by Donnie Orr in the early goings of the scheduled 8-rounder. Donnie Orr says he does not expect this fight to go the distance.
Peter, Orr certainly playing to the Irish crowd tonight. He does have Irish heritage, and his nickname is Donnie Boy, or the original name is Danny Boy. He has the Donnie Boy going, and he came into a little House of Pain tonight, an Irish rap group from the early 90s.
He's a Canadian who relocated to Boston but is of Irish descent, and that's certainly not going to hurt him with this predominantly Irish crowd here at the Castle in Boston, Massachusetts, who are awaiting Ireland's John Duddy, who is fighting tonight in the main event against Charles Howe. Donnie Orr shoots with the left to the body, tries for a left hook to the body of Valenzuela. Orr certainly more active in the first round. Donnie Orr really appreciates the way the Boston boxing community has taken him in since relocating here. He has fought once here in Boston in his last bout at the Roxy. Fights for promoter Richie Capiel out of Brockton and just staggered Valenzuela momentarily. It looked like Valenzuela was on some shaky legs for a few seconds.
Peter, tonight Orr looks like a super middleweight in Valenzuela looks like a welterweight. Just comparison to
and Valenzuela goes down. It looked like it was a left hook that did it from Donnie Orr. Valenzuela sits down. He'll start to get up, and he will beat the count. But Donnie Orr looking impressive thus far in round one as he puts Valenzuela on the canvas. And if you're Donnie Orr, or if you're his cornerman, you could ask for no better way to start off this 8-round affair. Donnie Orr puts an exclamation point on a round that he was already winning by scoring the knockdown against Roberto Valenzuela.